Hi there. Um, so I may seem a little tired today. Um, Sorry about that, but it's because I'm tired. Went back to work on Monday, and I didn't just go back to work. I went back to work on 10-hour shifts after being off work for 6 weeks. So a little exhausted. Um, Anybody else go back to work this week after being off for a while? Um, so I'm going to do things a little bit different today. Um, I'm going to do something that we don't do enough of these days. And I'm going to kind of tell my story. It's not just going to be a testimony. Um, it'll be kind of a mix of, it'll kind of be a testimony. Um, but there's a little more to it. So I guess to start off my story, I start off when I'm young. Um, so I didn't grow up in a church. I didn't, it wasn't offered to me. Um, my parents didn't take us to church. They never asked us if we wanted to go to church. Honestly, I don't know if I would have said yes when I was a kid or not. I've believed in God as long as I can remember. Um, but I didn't really know anything about, faith or Christianity until later in life. I do remember my sister and we went to a Sunday school every weekend I think it was just in the summers. It was a lady's house in our neighborhood. She always had snacks and a little craft, and we did a little bit of a Bible study. And from what I remember, we had fun. Um, I don't remember what I learned from it, but it was still, it was memorable. I liked it. And then in elementary school, I remember we had a trailer outside the school, and it was a religious ed class that we, we could go to. I don't know, it took place during something else. They didn't take away our recess, thank God. It was during some other kind of class. And we'd go out there for a little bit and we'd do some Bible study and learn the books of the Bible and some of the stories. And I really enjoyed that too. Learned a lot. Um, I mean, for like a third or fourth grader, I learned. Uh, when I was growing up, I didn't have any friends that went to church really. I did. So there was a kid down the street. His name was Zach Kippenbrock, and he was one of my best friends when I was real young. And him and his family went to church, and they never invited me. Um, I don't know if they just assumed that I didn't, or wouldn't want to go or what, but um, that's neither here nor there. Um, Other than that, I didn't have any friends that went to church. So basically, what I'm saying is I wasn't very exposed to Christianity growing up. Um, so getting out of elementary school, uh, get into middle school, um, pretty much in middle school, I had some of my best friends now one of my best friends now was my best friend in middle school. Um, but, his family didn't go to church. But, in middle school, I had kind of low self-esteem. And I've actually never said those words. I don't even know that my wife knows that. I had low self-esteem in middle school and in high school. Didn't think very highly of myself. Didn't think I was good enough. Um, didn't think I was good enough for anybody, not any girls. Didn't think I was good enough for, some of my friends even. Um, and then in between middle school and high school I started doing drugs, and by drugs, I started smoking pot. Um, got into some bad habits. Um, that all carried on into high school quite a bit. My my circle of friends was kind of defined by, whether they smoked pot or not. Now I did have some friends that didn't, um, and they were good friends, but all of my real friends, they all smoked pot, and that's just kind of what we did. We got together, we got high, and we pretty much did nothing, because anybody that's really ever smoked pot knows that you get high and you want to do nothing. Um, so we weren't very productive. And then I met Amanda. Honestly, she may kill me for saying this. I don't remember if I met her. I think I met her the summer of '96, which would have been in between middle school and high school, the summer that I started smoking pot. And I was instantly infatuated with her. Um, up until that point, I'd never had a real girlfriend, like a long term, you know, girl that I loved. Um, and she tells me that I rode my bike with my buddy Dustin. We rode our bikes from his apartment all the way over to her apartment. And it's kind of a long way. I don't remember riding my bike over there, but honestly, I was probably high and I forgot. Um, y'all can laugh at that. That's fine. Anybody that knows me knows that you can laugh at me and you're not going to hurt my feelings. Um, so, I got with Amanda. We were together for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. We were absolutely in love in high school. We were the couple that we'd always, pass each other notes in the hallway in between passing periods. And apparently she kept all the ones that I wrote her for a long time. I didn't keep any of hers. She was a much better girlfriend than I was a boyfriend. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. Um, to be honest, she's a better wife now than I am a husband. That's a fact as well. Um, so then the point came when I got arrested. Me and some buddies, we all got arrested. We were getting high in my neighborhood in a car. Amanda says facts. It's facts, yeah. Uh, we were all in a car, parked in a court cul-de-sac, whatever you want to call it. And we're getting high, and me and another one of my buddies, he was in the car with us, and we just had a bad feeling. And we should have followed that gut feeling. Um, because about the time that we each told each other, we said, "Hey, I don't feel good about this. I think we need to leave." Uh, Cops came rolling around the corner, and I mean, we were caught. So we went to jail that night. We got out of jail. I got out of jail as a minor, so I got off pretty easy. And then Amanda gave me an ultimatum, and as a teenager, I always had a rule that I won't take an ultimatum. So if you give me an ultimatum, I'm not going to choose. But now I've grown up, and any adult knows that even if you don't choose, you've still made a choice. I think there's a song about that. Um, so she broke up with me. It broke my heart. It was on Valentine's Day. Uh, I blamed her. I didn't blame myself. I blamed her. She tells me a story about, uh, I guess she called my house. My sister answered the phone, and she asked to talk to me. And I guess my sister came to me. I don't remember any of this. My sister came to my room, said, "Hey, Amanda's on the phone." And apparently I said something along the lines of, "I don't want to talk to that girl." I will say that girl. I didn't say girl though. It was a different word. I'm not going to say it. But I was angry. And I still didn't quit smoking pot. Yes, she broke up with me on Valentine's Day. Um, so I was really angry about that. And even after that, I still I was kept doing drugs, bad habits, bad habits. Just all I did was basically smoke weed and go to work. So we'll move forward. Um, Several years down the road, I'm out of high school, still working. I'm at a different job now, and I'm a maintenance man. And I end up meeting my ex-wife. She was one of the tenants. Uh, I met her, and we ended up getting together. Ended up having She ended up getting pregnant with my daughter Natalie, and then we moved to the South Side. I moved back to the South Side. She moved to the South Side. Um, so we had Natalie, and then she got pregnant with my son. And then we ended up getting married, I think, 3 months before my son was born. And then still no church. Okay, let's keep that. Still not going to church. Still have really no ties to a church. So we ended up getting married about this time. My daughter's about 2 years old, and my ex-wife, she was my wife at the time, ends up her and my daughter start going to church with my ex-wife's friend. Um, and my daughter had a blast at church, and she comes home and she's like, "Oh, Daddy, you should have come to church with us." And I was like, "No, I don't think that's for me." I was really reluctant, but week after week, my daughter would come home and tell me how good it was. And before they left, she'd beg me to come with them. And I just kept denying, kept saying, no, 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 I don't need church. It's, hogwash. I'd rather sit at home and get high, because that's what I did. Um, so eventually my daughter, you know, she's my little girl. Uh, she'll always do stupid things. Well, I hope not always, but she's done some stupid things. She'll probably do some more, but nothing she can ever do can make me love her any less. So I end up going, and I'm like, cool, whatever. I'll just see what it's about. So I go. I dug it. It was pretty cool. Um, had a good time, learned some stuff. Um, but still, I started going week after week and getting into it a little more, and we ended up getting into a home group, and um, getting a group of friends at church. So that was kind of nice. But still, something in my life was missing. Um, and it was missing for a long time. And then um, I end up leaving my ex-wife. We get a divorce. Me and Amanda get together, um, get back together. Uh, and she told me later, Amanda told me later on, that even if uh, I was still smoking pot, she still would have gotten back with me, but I wasn't. I had quit smoking pot by then, quit doing drugs completely. Um, so her and I get together, and that love is right back to where it was in high school. It was amazing. And then me and one of my buddies that, we hadn't talked in a couple of years, but I still consider him my best friend. We lived really close to each other, so we started hanging out more and more and started going over there and started drinking a lot. We'd go over there Fridays and Saturdays and we'd drink for hours and hours and hours. And don't get me wrong, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty stupid though. Didn't do my body any favors. Um, so then Amanda and I, Amanda's like, oh, hey, we should start going to church. And I was like, all right, cool. And she's like, well, I used to go to this church that me and Lindsay went to, and we should go check it out. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I said, I used to go to a church too. It was really cool, and we should check it out. So we kind of skipped back and forth between the church I used to go to and the church she used to go to. Well, people that have been divorced and, went to church, well, people that get divorced while they're going to church, most of the time, you'll hear people say that, oh, I lost that church in the divorce. Well, I lost that church in the divorce. My ex-wife went and spread a lot of rumors. It was really awkward walking back in there. I didn't like it. Like some of the people that are, that I knew there, they didn't treat me any different or anything like that, but it was just awkward because I'm there with, my new girl. And so anyway, Amanda's church ends up winning. Well, that church was Mount Zion. And we ended up making that church our home church. And it was a really good choice because I've got a lot of great friends come out of there. It's like Mike said before that when he first met me, he didn't like me. I can't say the same about him. I liked him. I thought he was funny. I thought he was pretty cool. He was somebody that I could, I don't want to say look up to, but kind of look up to. He was a good model for me, I guess, in a lot of aspects, not every aspect. Calm down, Mike. Shrink your head a little bit. So, we're attending, and at some point we become actual members, and we end up getting married. And then a little bit down the road, I end up answering my call to ministry to preach. Took me a while to figure it out. Yeah, Amanda's new hotness. You got old and busted and new hotness. Oh, hey, boss. How you doing, man? Uh, so I answered my call to ministry, but I was still negative. Um, I still saw, I don't know, I was really pessimistic. And when I was a teenager, I, um, I was a really optimistic person, and people loved that about me. And then I got older, and at this point in my life, I was a really pessimistic person. Even I was always, and I've told this story to some people that I'd go to work and I'd make decent money. Um, I'd go to work and I'd work my butt off and get paid. We'd pay the bills, and then there'd be nothing left over for extras. No, I don't know, no treats. I couldn't treat myself. So, um, and then so that was taking its toll on me, just being negative all the time. And I'm pretty sure Amanda was getting tired of me being so negative and pessimistic all the time, because she'd get mad at me. She'd be like, so what? Our bills are paid. We got food to eat. So what if you can't buy a new air compressor, or whatever that tool was that you wanted? Because that's exactly what Amanda would say. Whatever that tool thing was you wanted. Uh, so then we end up getting more involved in church. Um, I was building my relationship with God. And, um, and then 2016 hits, and my sister dies. Um, it wasn't unexpected. She had cancer. We all saw it coming. Um, she was a Christian, so that made it easier for me, um, because I know where my sister's at. There are some people in my family that they still haven't, I don't think, accepted the fact that if they're a Christian, then they'll see her again. Um, but through all that, I did stay faithful. Um, like that didn't, and I don't want this to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but that whole ordeal, it didn't shake my faith in the least. Yeah, I was sad. I'm still sad about it. Um, but I never once thought, why, how could God do this to somebody so good? Because she was a great person. Um, I'm not just saying that because she was my sister and she's not here anymore. She was actually a great person. Anybody that knew her, would tell you the same. They'd be like, yeah, she was a fantastic person. She couldn't hold her liquor, but she was a good person. Um, and then somewhere down the road after that, uh, of being really pessimistic about everything, I don't know, I guess God just smacked me in the face and I got happy, man. I got happy, I got content with what I have. I sat back and I was like, man, I've got, you know, it's like I've told people already that I've got more cars than I can drive. I've got a house with more rooms than I can put stuff in. I don't make a ton of money, but I make plenty of money. Um, Even though we make kind of irresponsible decisions with money. So, but that's our fault. We started being faithful in tithing, and it's, I can't specifically tell you how, but when we put our faith in God with our money, just our money alone, it's amazing how He blessed us. Um, just to, you know, people say if you put your faith in God with your money, if you give your tithes, then He'll take care of everything you need. And I think a lot of people that aren't Christians think that's just a bunch of hogwash, and it's not, man. If you truly put your faith in Him, that He'll uh, provide for you, when you give money to Him, give money back to Him. It really happens. It makes you feel really good about it because you're giving to the ministry to help other people come to Christ. And you don't do it because it'll make you feel good. You do it out of obedience and faith. But a byproduct of that makes you feel good about it. But I don't know. I'm running a little long, so I got to kind of shorten this. I'm running way long. My wife's going to kill me because she won't be able to put this on Instagram. This is actually longer than most sermons that I've done, actually. Somebody's going to laugh at that. So I guess the moral of the story is, if God can take a mess like me and get me to quit smoking pot, get me to quit drinking, get me to have faith in Him and make me a positive person, even in bad situations, I still get really angry. Um, and I still see, maybe the crap that's happening, right in the beginning, but then, a little later I'll see the blessing that was in whatever was happening. This is longer than my sermons. Uh, so if he can take a mess like me and turn me around, um, he can do it for anybody. And if there's anybody on here that's not a part of a church or not a Christian, and you think that Christianity and churches all they want is your money and they just want you to change, um, I'm here to tell you that neither this church or the church I attended before did anybody. I'd stand outside and I'd smoke a cigarette before church every Sunday, and every Sunday I'd walk out of that church, and the first thing I'd do is light a cigarette. Nobody one time ever was like, that's a sin. You shouldn't be doing that. They never said that. Nobody's ever asked me or told me that I needed to change my ways. It's no, Justin, you're my inspiration, bro. Um, it's the church doesn't want you. The church doesn't want you to change you. The church wants you to have a relationship with Jesus, so that you can have salvation. You can have the free gift of salvation that we all have. And there are byproducts of that. There's hope, there's content, there's happiness. Um, there's other things too, but I gotta I gotta cut this off. It's getting late and it's almost bedtime, man. Um, I'm gonna pray for you guys here in a minute. I'd like to say thanks for joining us. It was a good talk. I got that off my chest. I'd like to hear other people's stories sometime too, like in-depth stories. Um, if anybody ever sees me and you want to know something more about my story, because in this society, like, everybody's so private and nobody ever wants to open up and tell you about themselves, and it's really hard to know people when they won't tell you about themselves. Um, so it's good to hear about other people, but um, you're welcome, Cindy. Uh, you're welcome, Mike. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap this up with some prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you for everybody that got on the Facebook today, and Lindsay will like that, um, and watch this. I thank you for the free gift of salvation that you've given me, and the hope that you've given me in life, and all the blessings that I have. And I believe that they're directly because of you. Um, I want to pray for anybody in this stream, and even people that aren't in this stream, that just they're inside, they're hopeless. They don't seem to have a hope, and they think that the world's ending, and they think nothing's ever going to get better for them, and they need fancy things and a whole big bank account, and big house. And I pray, God, that you'll just help them to be more content with all the things that they do have, instead of focusing on the things that they don't have. Um, I pray that if I can't be the person that tells them about you, I pray, God, that somebody will open up and share their testimony with them, and show them the the proof, the proof that you do exist, you do love us, and you do work miracles. Um, I pray if there's anybody in here that isn't already a Christian, and maybe they want to talk to myself or Mike or some other staff here, that I don't know, that they'll give us a direct message, or put something in the comments down here and just let us know. I pray that that'll happen, um, and we can get back to them and talk to them. Uh, I want to pray for our world. Uh, it's nuts. It's nuts. It needs to get back to normal. People losing their jobs, losing their businesses. People not going back to work yet. Um, It's just taking a toll on everybody's sanity right now, God. Um, I pray that you'll be with us all in the good times and the bad, and I pray that we'll see that. Uh, and I thank you again for everything you've done for me and everything you'll do for me and everything you've done for everybody that's given themselves over to you. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Hey, if you like this, this is going to sound very YouTube-ish, but would you like this, share it, subscribe to our page if you're not already? You know, you guys know how algorithm works. The more it's liked, the more it's shared, the more people see it, and the more hope that can be, passed around, because the world needs it these days. I thank everyone that came to this stream today. And just keep checking us out. We're doing these streams on a regular basis. I think mine's probably the longest one so far, which is really odd. We're going on 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't think I've ever preached this long at all. So yeah, let's hear your stories, folks. Thank you guys, and God bless everyone. See you later.